what's up and welcome back to my channel. You guys already know by the title what this video is gonna be about. I am so excited for this video. I finally got my package and I am so excited to be reviewing this for my channel. If you haven't seen it already, I did post a TikTok using this new Glamlite x Mikayla Part 2 palette. I did an eye look tutorial on my TikTok. So if you want to see a different eye look than the one we're going to be doing today, which is this one, which I honestly really love, then you can definitely check out your girl TikTok. But this is what we're gonna do today. We're gonna swatch some shades in this palette. We're gonna compare it with the first one. We are gonna get into all of the goods. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Here it is in all its glory. This is the Mikayla Part 2 palette. Of course, I do have the original one. When this original one first came out, I did a review on it. Seriously loved this palette. This is one of my favorite Glamlite palettes ever. So when I saw she was coming out with a Part 2, I was like, hold on, girl. Hold up. Is this gonna be better than the first one? As y'all can see, this is a very different opposite end of the spectrum of the first one. This one is giving sultry, it's giving glam, it's giving 1920s, maybe roaring 20s kind of vibes. We have the green and the gold, which is a really beautiful royal kind of color vibe, which I really love. And then of course we have all of the information on the back. Now this palette is a eyeshadow and a pressed pigment palette, which technically, if you're not familiar with pressed pigments, they're usually not intended for the immediate eye area. You can use it if you will. They will cause staining as well. So, you know, I also find that pressed pigments are extremely pigmented. Honestly, I feel like Glamlite's formula in general is just really pigmented and extremely blendable. But when you open up the palette, you get this gorgeous sultry vibe right here. Mine is definitely used and partially abused because I've been creating quite a few looks with this palette recently, and it's such a beautiful sultry palette. Now we have a lot of shimmers, we have mattes. Now one thing you might notice about this palette is it is very monochromatic-esque. So we have an entire row of blues plus a black, which is very intense. I did use the black in this look today. Then we have an entire row of purples and greens, and then we're getting into a little bit more gold. And then the top row is completely made of shimmers. We're gonna get to swatching some of these shades because I really love this. I'm not gonna swatch all of like the mattes because I feel like they're gonna end up looking like, you know, they're pretty similar in tone, kind of. So we're gonna get to swatching some of these shimmers. Some of these shimmers I haven't even touched, but they look gorgeous. Okay, so first off we have glazed, sparkly, poppin'. Ooh, poppin' is gorgeous. I did use it in this look today. Then we have dreams, which is a beautiful green. Next shades we have is insane, which is definitely insanely pigmented. It's gorgeous. Then we have Cloud 9, which I had to use in my look today. We have Glitter 11, 20, 21. So here is some of the first row and a little bit of the second row of the shimmers. Cannot get over this. This shade right here is called I Love You. This is such a beautiful blue. We have Gold AF, which is stunning. Next we have the shade You, which is really gorgeous and sultry. Ooh, I want to do a look with this shade all over the lid. Next we have Baddie, which living for this. This shade right here is called The Mocket, and it is so pretty. Oh my gosh. That is such a gorgeous like emerald kind of green. Go ahead and just swatch all the shimmers. I mean, why not? So I have 3 more shimmers to swatch in the palette. All right, these are the last 3 shimmers in the palette. So this one's called Stawbies, which I'm obsessed with Starbucks. Mango Dragon Fruit Lemonade with light ice and light dragon fruit pieces is your girl's favorite drink. Highly recommended, okay? Not the regular Mango Dragon Fruit Refresher. I'm talking about the one with lemonade because it is so good. Like, obsessed with it. This one is called Grateful, which is really beautiful green, very vibrant. And the last shade is called Oh My God, which is a really beautiful duochrome kind of purple. So these are all of the shimmers in the new Mikayla Paht 2 palette. Honestly, this palette is like low-key kind of worth it for me just for the shimmers. They really sold me. This is what made me want it even more. Let's swatch some of the mattes. Now, one thing about Glamlite's matte formula, especially pastels, because there is quite a few pastels in this palette, their pastels show true to color, which I really, really love. It's a really beautiful formula. It definitely does show true to color. So we're gonna swatch some of the pastels so y'all can see what I'm talking about. First shade, my hand is kind of wet, so hopefully it doesn't affect it. First shade we're gonna swatch is called 13. Hand is kind of wet, so I'm gonna go over that again. But as you can see, it doesn't look ashy. This next shade is called No Harsh Lines. Really beautiful. Then next up we have the Commons. Oh my goodness. When I used to live in Boston, I used to go to the Commons literally all the time. Second layer, just to go over that for intensity. Then we're gonna swatch the black. This shade is called Blackest Black. Really nice. And then we have this shade right here called, so this shade is called Wicked Awesome. So here's some of these deeper sultry colors in the pastels. Really do feel like they swatch absolutely beautifully. Even just going over it a second time, still beautiful. I mean, swatches, so you know. Let's swatch a couple purples and then we're gonna get into this eye look, which I'm really excited about. Let's swatch Mimu. Mimu Authenticity. I've been using Authenticity so much recently. This is like the first shade that I was drawn to that I really wanted to use in an eye look. Ooh, okay, these are gorgeous, okay? Very gorgeous. Oh, I'm obsessed. Ooh, I did not do a good job taking off these swatches. That's the swatches. I hope that kind of helped to make up your mind if you want this palette or not. But without further ado, let's get into how I got this gorgeous, gorgeous eye look, okay? I'm obsessed with this look. So we're gonna get into this eye look. This is the look that we're gonna be creating right here. I think it is so pretty. I really, really like it. I wanted to play with the blues today. Like I said, I did do a TikTok using the purples and kind of a little bit of the blue, but mainly it was like more purple based. So I wanted to play with the blues today, and then hopefully I can do a look eventually with the greens. Oh my God, this palette is so loud. Like, it's loud. It's because the like shimmer, sparkle, whatever this is bigger than this. So this isn't as loud, but this is super loud. So keep that in mind. But I'm just really excited to be playing with this palette on camera. I've been really, really loving this palette a lot recently. Literally just have foundation and primer on. I didn't do my base because one thing I have noticed with this palette is that the fallout is ridiculous, especially with the shimmers because it's a lot of glitter. So the fallout is very insane. We're gonna start off with one of these little tapes right here. This is gonna help us sketch out our look. So I'm gonna take a pencil brush. This is the Morphe M321 brush, and this is gonna help us sketch out this shape. So I'm gonna take these two shades kind of back and forth, and I'm gonna use both of those to start sketching out my shape. I hope this is like the same length or the same like spacing, and just start to shape it. The reason why I decided to mix in the purple with this black is because I didn't want it to be so harsh at the beginning. So I'm basically just following the tape and just kind of smoking this out. It's okay if it gets a little bit messy or thick. You just want to start smoking out this right here. And then once you kind of get a little bit of like a smoked out effect, I think that's the same size. It might be a little higher, but that's fine. Maybe. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start sketching the shape. So I'm just gonna kind of connect the end and just start bringing it up and throughout the crease with the same two shades. I'm not changing up the shades. I'm just taking the black and taking the purple together. Wow, see, this is why I took more black than purple. And I'm just gonna start running this throughout the crease. I feel like I went in with a little bit too much black, so I'm gonna start taking more of the purple and just start to kind of tone it down a bit so it's not so harsh. And I'm just running it through here. And we're gonna cut the crease, so I wouldn't worry too much about it looking kind of messy or anything. This is like perfect. This is exactly what I want this look to look like. So once we have the sketched out shape like this, next what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into this purple right here. This purple right here is called Paht Rice. So I'm gonna take that on a fluffy brush, and I'm gonna use this to kind of clean up and smoke out and blend out the edges of the black and the purple we just put down. I went in with a lot of black on this eye, so I really need to clean this up and smoke it out. And as y'all can see, Glamlite's formula is very pigmented, so a little bit does go a long way. So you really do not need a lot of this. But since I'm going in with a very, very dark, with some dark colors, I just really want to make sure this is smoked out with as much shadow as possible. But as y'all can see, the shape is coming together. Wow, this keeps moving. That's not cool. So as you can see, the crease is blending out beautifully. We have that shape, and the shape is gonna become more defined once we go in with the P. Louise base to kind of cut out the shape. But this is just gonna help it's gonna just help create a very beautiful, sharp look like we did on this side. I definitely do recommend doing your eyes first and then do your base, or just put on your concealer, your primer, moisturizer, whatever, and then add in concealer, bronzer, all that other stuff on top after you've done your eye look. Also, my hair is so big today, which I really like it. Okay, so once I got this smoked out as much as I want, now we're gonna cut the crease with the P. Louise base. I like to use the shade 2. I think it's a perfect shade. I feel like it also helps the shadows to pop as well, so that is something to note. So I'm just gonna take some on the back of my hand, which is what I like to do. Then I'm gonna take my favorite concealer brush. I think it's perfect for cut creases. This is from Morphe. This is the Morphe 421 brush, and it's the perfect cut crease brush. So if you need a good brush, check it out. Get it on Morphe's site, get it at Ulta. It's literally the best. Now we're gonna take it and we're just gonna cut the inside of the look. Oh my goodness, this tape, we're gonna cut the inside. And what I like to do is I like to kind of pat it to kind of set it where I place the base. I just like to pat just like this. Now that we're right here at the V, we're gonna kind of cut that V out. So you're basically just following the shape just like that, basically in the inside. And then pat to set. And I just like to tap to blend everything. And I think this looks pretty good. I think it looks really, really good. Now what I like to do is go back into that pencil brush that I went in with to kind of sketch out the look. And I'm just gonna go along the bottom right here just to kind of smoke it out, but kind of make sure we still have that black peeking through underneath. All right, now I feel like is the fun part, the shimmers. So I just used 2 shimmers on the lid. There's so many shimmers to choose from, so many shimmers. So the first shimmer I'm gonna go in with is called Poppin'. It's a really beautiful shimmer, but it's very chunky, so I definitely recommend doing your eyes first. I'm just gonna place some of this down. Then I'm just gonna take my Morphe 124 brush and just kind of get the spots where my finger couldn't. This is such a gorgeous, gorgeous blue shade. I cannot get over this. I really wanted to do like black all over the lid and then just top this all on top for like a simple, really gorgeous galactic look, but I couldn't, I don't know what I did with my black base, so I ended up not doing that. Then the other shade, the next shade we're gonna go in with is this beautiful blue right here. It's called Cloud 9. I'm gonna place, oh my God, that's beautiful. I'm gonna place this right next to it. I'm just gonna take this off my lips really quickly. Now what I'm gonna do is basically take that same Morphe brush I went in with and just fill in where we cut. Just basically filling in everywhere I put that P. Louise base. I'm gonna go back into that lighter blue. They're pretty similar in tone, So I really wanted that to show through, but I wanted it to be like light to dark. And that's basically y'all the entire look. I'm just gonna take this off. And then look at that. It's like so pretty. I'm definitely gonna clean this up with concealer, but this is basically the whole look. It looks really gorgeous and I'm truly obsessed with it. So I'm gonna finish up the rest of my makeup and then we'll be back for my final thoughts on this palette. But I really hope y'all are loving this eye look. Right, so here is the finished look. I really love how this look turned out. I think it's so beautiful. This is such a beautiful palette. I'm really excited that I finally got my hands on this and I was able to film with it. So let's get into my final thoughts on this palette. Now, I honestly thought that the first palette was my favorite palette. You know, like I feel like the first one is really gorgeous. I feel like there's such a variety if you are new to color or if you just want to dabble in color. You have your color, you have your neutral, you literally have everything that you need in this one palette. This palette is like, okay, you bought it, you felt that way, and now that this one is out, it's like, okay, now let's get into the color. Let's get into the jewel tones, these sultry makeup looks, and I really love this one. I think honestly, I love the shimmers in here more than the first one, but I do love the variety that's in the first palette. With this one, you only get 4 different colors to really play around with. You have your blue, you have your purple, you have your green, and then you kind of have like the gold shimmers. Do monochromatic looks, which I do love, but there's only so much you can do with this palette. Now I say all that to say that this one and this one are the perfect palettes to pair together. Like if you're traveling, taking both of these is perfect. This is a beautiful palette going into like winter time specifically because it is jewel toned, it's more sultry, it's more muted. Also, if you want to dabble into color as well, it's also very wearable at the same time. Believe it or not, I do feel like this is a very wearable palette. I really love this one. I think it's beautiful. The only thing I'm kind of like about is the fact that these right here makes so much noise. I mean, it's not a big deal, but that's if I'm like really being nitpicky about the palette. It's just that this just is very noisy. But other than that, I really love the palette. The formula is amazing. Quality is literally the Glamlite quality that we know and love. I hope y'all enjoyed this look today. I really love it. This is probably one of my favorite looks I've done recently. I really like it. I just feel like the shimmers in here are so eye-catching and they truly make the whole palette for me, which I really love. I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. Let me know your thoughts down below and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye guys.